everybody. It's me, Ms. McNicol. Welcome to episode number 5 of Just Right. So outside of Abby's room today, there happens to be this really, really big book. Wow. And I thought to myself, this could make for an episode. A lot to say in a really big way. So today we're going to go inside and have a lot to say in a really big way. See you there. Hi writers, I'm glad you're here with episode 5 of Just Right. So last time we were together, we made some envelope books with our All About books. And they were kind of small, but I was able to put some information about my topic inside, not a lot. And then I started, over the last few days, I started looking at some information books, all about books, and I realized, wow, these authors really have a lot to say. No wonder they need books that are bigger than the ones that we made. So I thought, I think we should make some books that are bigger. How are we going to do that? How will we put our books together? We're not going to make a book as big as this one, because first of all, who has the paper that big? But you might have paper that's this size. This is a book I made a long, long time ago when I was first beginning to teach, and someone taught me how to bind books together in a very special but easy way so that you could see all of the illustrations inside the seam, and you could even make an illustration that went across the 2 pages like I know some of you do, and there's really not much of a break in the middle. So today, in today's episode number 5, we're going to take a look at information books, all about books, and discover what do these authors have to say. And it might give you ideas for things that you can say, a lot to say about your topic. And then I'll teach you how to make a bigger book so that you can put all of that information in one place and create your own big book where you have a lot to say in a really big way. So let's get started. Authors of informational books or all about books often have a lot to say. So what they do is they start with a table of contents. It's not a table like a table you sit at. It's more like a table that's a chart, and it's filled with the contents, like the contents of a package, what's inside of what you will see inside the book. Table of contents. These authors also have to plan what's going to go on a page. They have a lot of information. They need to decide, where will I put the words? Where will I put the photographs? Where will I put special little charts? All of those things go in the planning of an all-about book. Another thing these authors do is they organize their information. They do that by using headings. You may see one heading at the top of the page. It's like a title. Or you may see a couple headings. You know they're headings because they usually have larger letters or bold print. This author used a question as their heading. You could use a phrase or even just one word as your heading. So all about authors get very clever in how they're going to share facts with their reader. Facts are what an all about book is really all about. And when you have a lot, you have to figure out, how can I be exciting with my facts? Some write descriptions, like in this Apple book. Some use number facts with big numbers, little numbers, to impress the reader and show different ways with different diagrams. Some have a special place on the page for fun facts, or this author used a did you know question to show their facts. Some authors give their facts in a list, such as these snowboard items. and others use a timeline to show when things happen, like in history. Pictures are another way that authors can be creative in their all about or information books. You will see that some authors in their books choose to use real photographs of real things to go along with their facts, such as these showing things that a rabbit eats. Others choose to make their own illustrations. This one shows how a bee pollinates a flower. Other authors like to use charts and graphs. Here's a pictograph of growing apples that are grown in the United States. Here's a simpler graph showing what pet might we get in the classroom. So you can use different charts different ways as an author of an information book. Here are some other charts. Some use maps. Some use drawings. Some make their pictures, their graphs match their facts. Diagrams are important in information books. You might see a lot of those. And there are labels that go with a diagram to show the different parts. Just as authors of information books decide which type of pictures and charts and illustrations to use, they also have to choose which words they're going to use. Many of your topics are going to have special words that only go along with your topic. Like my topic about trees had special words in it, like sap and branch and limb. A topic about skiing might have special words like slope or binding or neck warmer. These kind of words that are specific to your topic are often called domain-specific words, and they have a special place in books. We'll look at some now. This author, who wrote a book about snowboarding, made his domain-specific or special words bold in the print. You can see the words extreme snowboarding and border cross and obstacles are all in bold. That means they're important for his topic. He may include these words in a glossary that you'll find at the end of his book. We'll talk about glossaries in a little bit. So by making your words in bold print, you point them out to the reader as important. You may do that in your book. Some authors choose to use pictures to help them explain what domain-specific words mean. For example, in this book about sharks, they explain their teeth to the reader by using pictures. Long and spiky teeth are clearly seen in the picture. Flat teeth are seen in the picture. And you can tell what the word serrated means by looking at the picture. The same author also uses a special box at the bottom of the page about sharks' teeth. He calls them word bites. It explains the definition of a special word used on that page. Here he tells about predators, that they're animals that eat other animals, and prey, that they are animals that are eaten by other animals. And so a special box, just like a fun fact box, can be used to explain domain-specific words in your book. Glossaries are often found at the back of an information or all-about book. A glossary works like a small dictionary. It includes those special words or domain-specific words, and it includes their definition in words or sometimes in pictures. So here's an example of a glossary. The first word is accordion, and the definition says a musical instrument with a keyboard that is carried by a musician. A glossary might be something you might want to include too. A final place for special words in an information or all about book is called the index. The index is also found at the back of the book. It lists specific topics or words and the page number that you can find them on within the book. For example, in this index, which is about the Earth, you might want to look up the word glacier. It is found listed in alphabetical order, and you can see that the glaciers are found on pages 20, 21, and 23 in the book. So indexes help the reader find what they're looking for in an information book. I just shared with you many of the things that all about authors think about when they go to write their all about books. As you can see, they often have a lot to say about their topic. And so they take the time to plan their page, to think about their pictures, to think about their facts, to think about their words, and how they will put it all together for you to enjoy their word and learn a lot, because this is, in fact, a teaching book to teach you about their topic. So now you can take the time to make yourself an all about or information book where you have a lot to say about your topic. I'm going to work on mine, and then I'll come back and show you how I put my book together in a big book kind of way. So I'm going to use large pieces of paper to write my book, and then we'll put it together. Just like these authors did on their pages, filled with facts, filled with pictures, filled with information to teach us. Happy writing, everybody. Hi, everybody. So I'm back. I finished writing my all about book with a lot to say. How did you do with yours? So mine looks like this. I went to my idea book and I found one of the things I knew a lot about was skiing. And so I wrote my book about skiing. Here's my cover, and it goes like this. I made a table of contents where I talk about introduction, the equipment, the slopes, safety, and skiing versus snowboarding. And then I wrote an introduction because that's my first kind of chapter in my book. And it says, do you like to be outside? Do you like to go fast? Would you like to enjoy the snow? If you answered yes to these questions, then you might be interested in learning about skiing. I tried to grab my reader's attention with the questions at the beginning. So here's my introduction. And then I have a double page about equipment. I list the equipment, and I have a diagram to show what all the equipment looks like. The helmet and the goggles and the jacket. This page explains what the equipment is for. You'll notice too that I have a word in bold letters. You'll see that later in my glossary. My next page, 2 pages, talk about the slopes. Because when you ski, there are different kinds of hills or slopes that you can come down. Green circles, blue squares, black diamonds, double black diamonds, and a terrain park. So I explain those here on these pages. Again, you'll see some words. My domain-specific words are in red. My next page is about safety, where I've given a list. That's how I decided to share my facts. And my last page, I wrote a little bit comparing skiing and snowboarding. At the end, I did put a glossary with some of my domain-specific words and what they mean next to them. Mogul, a small or large bump on a trail, a skier, that a skier comes down. Here I drew some little diagrams to show the different kinds of slopes. So all of that information is in my All About or information book. I planned it out. I have different parts to it, different sections, like in my table of contents. Now I'm going to show you how to put this book together. So when you put your book together, you're putting it together in a big way because they're bigger pages. We could just put a staple in the side, like we do when we're in school. But sometimes when you put the staples in, the words in the middle get lost, and they'd get chopped off, or the picture. So the way I'm going to show you today will allow you to see the full page. So this is what I do. I make sure all my pages are in order. I lay them down flat on a surface, probably not a wood surface because you're going to be sticking tape to the wood, and you don't want that to happen. So a kitchen counter is a perfect place to do that. That's where I am right now. And then I'm going to pick up all the pages except for my last page. So here we go. I'm going to pick these up and set them aside, keeping them in order. My last page is just blank because it's the end. I'm going to choose my tape. I can use Scotch tape, I can use masking tape, or I can use duct tape, whichever I want to. I kind of like the duct tape because it's blue. So I'm going to use that for my book today. I'm just going to take a piece that's about as long as my book, and I'm going to stick it down where half of the tape is on my paper and half of my tape is stuck right to the counter. Here, I'll lift it up so you can see. Just like that. And then I'm going to cut or rip the tape. And it's okay that my tape is longer than my page because I'll take care of that at the end. Okay? So then I'm going to take my next to last page. And I'm going to, that's the page that I have that has my skiing versus snowboarding and glossary on the back. So that's going down. And I want to line up the edges. And then I take my tape again, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get my tape. I'm going to put half of it on the paper and half of it on the table. And I don't want to cover up any words when I do that. And then I will cut it off. And now I have 2 pages stuck down with the tape right to my counter, just like this. And you can see how it can flip already. And then I'm going to take the next page that goes, put it down, try and get the edges even as best as I can. And then I'll take my tape again and put it on top. Here I go. I'm going to keep doing that until I get to my top page. So I'm going to come back in a minute once I have all my pages stuck down in this way. So here now I have 3 pages stuck down to my counter, and the tape is on top of each other, all stuck to the counter, just like this. I'll see you in a minute. So I have taped down all my pages except for my cover. So now let's do that. I'll tape my cover down and watch what happens next for the binding part. I'm putting my cover on top, my final page. I'm taking my tape and I'm going to stick it down. Remember, it's okay if the tape goes a little above or below the page when you stick it down. Sticking it down like this. Make sure my page is lined up. I did get some scissors. I'm going to cut that off. And now, this is the fun part. I'm going to take all of the pages and the tape and carefully lift it up off of the counter. And then I'm going to fold the tape over so the sticky part all sticks to the back. And you have a book that has this nice binding on the side. Now what about the tape at the top and the bottom? I'll just take my scissors, and it might be thick if you use duct tape, so you might need an adult to help you to cut that off. The top, and I cut off at the bottom, and then I have my book that's nicely bound, and I can see all of the page way into the middle, and none of my writing has gotten chopped off from the staples. So give that a try with your book. See how you can do putting your big pages together in this way. And this will help you have a lot to say in a really big way. Keep writing, everybody. Share your books with your teacher on Google Classroom or on Seesaw. And I hope to see you next time on Just Write. Just write me a letter. Just write me a rhyme. Just write me an email any old time. Just write me a story, maybe short, maybe long, or if you prefer, just write me a song. Just write me a text or a card with a line. Just write me your feelings. I hope you are fine. Just write what you can, write big or write small. Whatever you write will be good for us all. Just write, everybody, just write. See you next time. Just write.